Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Sarah. You already know that because my name is somewhere down there. I spent 5 years in the multi-level marketing industry. I was gaslit, I was lied to, I was manipulated, and now I'm here so that you don't make the same mistakes I did. Let's get started. Hello, hi, how's your week going? How's my week going? I caught a sinus infection, in case you already couldn't tell by the sound of my voice. Yes, it's not usually this sexy. Well, I am on lots and lots of antibiotics. I'm pretty sure I've coughed up like 5 lungs by now, but I am definitely on the mend. I could not record anything last week. I didn't do it last week. I didn't even go to work last week. So I was struggling. I was in bed for most of the week, lost about 9 pounds, but I'm getting better today. I kicked most of the symptoms yesterday, and I'm kind of just hanging around with this weird cough once in a while and this very, very sexy Christina Aguilera voice. So if you guys can bear through it, I can too. We're gonna be doing a reaction video. I had one of my subscribers send me this through my email. It is a Scentsy opportunity call. So we're gonna hop on that. I have not seen it, so I'm gonna be reacting for the first time with you guys, which is super, super exciting and my all-time favorite thing to do. A little housekeeping. I am not a lawyer. I am not a doctor. I am not a scientist. I am not an astronaut. I am not a nanny. I am not a Scentsy wax consultant. But I do have a lot of opinions, and I do know how to work an iPhone, and I do know how to agree to the terms and conditions of YouTube. So here we are. We have opinions. We don't like online scams, and we are going to talk about it. So I hope you guys are having a great week. I hope you're ready to sit with me through this opportunity call. I am going to put a little bit of makeup on. It is going to be the absolute first time I have put on makeup in the past week, so I am excited to look like a human again. I even grabbed my straightener, so I'm going to put some life into this hair as well. So get your drink and let's get started on this opportunity call. Okay. All right, so we're gonna get started, you guys. I am so stoked to have a mix of leaders on here, by the way. As y'all can see, we have the wonderful Jennifer Anderson, and she's going to be leading this. We're going to be leading this together, really, and hopefully going to be able to give you guys some breathability on some things you can let go as a leader, some things you may want to hold on. I know we are 37 seconds into this video. Can we please have a moment of silence for all the motherfucking wax melts that are in her background? Let me count them. Hold on. Okay, I already lost count because I don't have the attention span for that, but also halfway through counting them, I realized the totes that are under the hanging wax melts are also full of wax melts. So, oh my God, why does one person need that many wax melts? Tell me you're buying rank without telling me you're buying your rank, because in no universe, in no lifetime, am I ever going to need that many wax melts. There are stacks on stacks on those pegs. Some of those pegs are definitely at least like 8 to 10 deep. Why Jennifer Anderson? Not to be confused with Jennifer Aniston. Do you need that many wax melts? I don't understand. Pick up as a leader, and some things you won't like at all that we have to say, and that is totally okay, because leadership is 100% not a one size fits all at all. Before we get started, Jen, do you have anything you would like to say?
I mean, I'm just excited about this topic tonight. I think it's really needed right now in our Scentsy community, in 2024 direct selling industry. You know, we're talking about being a leader that lasts. And I don't know about all of you guys, but like, I mean, I'm in this for the long haul. Like, I am never leaving Scentsy. They will have to drag me out. Like I am never leaving Scentsy. And I think that that's kind of rare, right? Today, like you're not hearing people say that about any company that they're with. And so I hope that we can give you a little bit of insight on why, lasting and sticking around, like what a difference that makes, but also some tools, and maybe learn from our experience. Combined, Chloe, what have we, I mean, you've been in this, you just had 10 years last year, so 11 years.
I had 10 years 2 years ago. So this is
Okay. Oh,
12 years. That's how
okay.
fast 2023 was, by the way.
Wild. So
What?
12 years, and then
Yeah.
I'll celebrate 14 years with Scentsy this year. So combined, we have 26 years of experience here. And I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of experience. And I hope that you will learn from our mistakes. And like she said, you might not like some things we say, and that's okay. You're allowed to not like them, and you're allowed to lead differently. But proof is in the pudding, and we may know what we're talking about. So truth hurts. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I'm excited because also we are both very similar in where what people see is what they get from us. And I think people know that. And so I hope that when you guys hear this, or if you're watching the recording, that y'all know that like this is truly like our cards are about to be on the table with truly like we want to help you guys do it better. And that's something, Jen, I always tell my leaders, like, I want to help you do it better and quicker. And if you don't have to go through so much, so many stumbles along the way, but also we're going to talk about that in some of the questions. Like, I believe a lot of that has to happen because you can't just take the easy road all the time. So let's go. Yeehaw.
Let's go. Yeehaw.
You ready for your
Ready
first?
to fire. You want me to question you first, or you wanna hit me with one? So Chloe and I are doing Q&A tonight. We have questions for each other about lasting in leadership and our journeys. And so hopefully you are ready.
You were going to ask me first, weren't you?
Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
I think so.
So when Chloe presented me with this topic, and I said, hey, like, why don't we do it Q&A style, right? Where you ask me some questions and I'll ask you some questions. And so on the topic of being a leader that lasts, this is what I said to Chloe today. I said, look, there are so many companies to partner with in this space. There are so many ways to make money in the direct selling industry. There are so many ways to make money online, social selling, 2024. There's a lot. So my question to you, Chloe, is why do you continue to choose Scentsy and only Scentsy?
So it was really crazy when you sent me this question because I literally didn't know how to answer it because, and it's so weird because you just said this. I am so bought into Scentsy that, so number one, I chose Scentsy and I choose Scentsy because of the core values. So we'll just start there. The authenticity, the simplicity, the generosity, our core values are like through the good, the bad, and the ugly. They are anchored to that, and you can feel that. And if you guys have been to a Scentsy event before, like, the feeling and you just know what that culture's like, right? And so I joined Scentsy, and when I did, I never, first of all, thought I would do direct sales at all. And so whenever my husband got my...
Why do they always say that? Why do they always start out with saying they would have never done direct sales or they never thought of doing direct sales before? Is that supposed to be like a selling point? Like, oh, I never thought of doing this, but now I'm doing it. See, you can do it too. Or because you're not thinking about this, then you can do it anyways? Is that the point we're trying to get to? Because I don't really understand that selling point of it. It wasn't even on my radar. I didn't know what direct selling was, or I never thought I would be in direct selling, and then now they're doing it. Is that to even the playing field for people who are not thinking about it at all? And then also, she said, I love Scentsy's core values. Every single company has core values. Every single one, and it's usually the same. It's usually somewhere along the lines of, we care about our employees so much and we're trying to maintain sustainability and protect the earth. Like almost every single company, in my opinion, has a very, very similar motto or core values, and MLMs especially are identical. They're almost exactly the same. It's like helping people. We're just trying to help moms. We're just trying to help people become financially free and get time freedom. Like, it's all the same. So Scentsy's core values, they're going to be the same as all the other ones.
For me, and it came in, I was like, okay, this is it. This is the only direct sales company I'm going to do. Like, I'm not going to be a hopper. I'm not going to go to like the necklaces or the bags or do all this. I'm going to go all in. And if this doesn't work, I'll just keep being a nurse because this is great. So from the get-go, I was what you've always kind of taught me, Jen, like tunnel visioned. And this is something Jen talks about often, but I was very much so all in. Like I jumped in. There was no like, I'm not going to sponsor. I'm not going to sell. I'm not going to take advice from successful consultants. I was like a sponge, and I still am. And I think that's important in success, right? And so for me now, the reason I continue to choose Scentsy is anchoring off of their core values with the way that I want my family's life to look and the legacy I'm going to leave them and the freedom that Scentsy gives me and has allowed for us to live the life that we live. And like, you know, insert income disclosure. It will be on this call, but you know, Justin's open businesses.
Will it be on the call?
Because we have had that ability with me being able to just do Scentsy, you know, and like Nathan has been able to retire, Justin's been able to retire. And so it grew along the way. But I think the most important thing, Jen, for me, and what I want these leaders and listeners to hear is that I was all in. There was not, that didn't mean I didn't have doubts and wasn't insecure. And I mean, Jen has literally watched my entire journey, and a lot of y'all have seen it. If you saw my old YouTube channel, I shut a lot of it down, but like it was me. Like, this is me from here, and we're growing and we're getting smarter and we're learning, but like, I always was all in. And it wasn't just like, oh, I'm so passionate about just the product. I love the product, but it was something more. And it's hard to like put it into words. And I can't wait to see Orville on stage, because I'm going to be like sobbing, because like just the way he is and how much he loves us. He's like a father. And it was so different stepping into Scentsy than any other job I'd ever had. Like
I am very, very creeped out that she just explained the CEO as being like a father figure, because we're trying so hard to not, as an MLM, they're trying really hard to not parallel themselves with cults, but then they go and say this culty like our CEO, which I'm assuming that's who she's talking about. I'm so sorry. I'm under the weather and did not do any research before this video. I'm assuming Orville Redenbacher is their CEO. You guys can look it up. I'll look it up after to make sure, or spokesperson or whatever the hell. But why compare this human who is just a CEO of a company to being your father? That, sign me not up to be for that, because that's weird. And I don't like it at all.
My life. So it was the buying in for me, and then just seeing that their actions of their core values were and always have been true and real the whole time. You know?
Mm-hmm. And I just want to follow it up with like, so like, there's never been like a sparkly new trend or company or like shiny carrot that's ever caught your attention or thought maybe.
I don't even want to laugh, but it's just so comical, because I'm sure, Jen, you've had people to like reach out about this groundbreaking opportunity, and it's just so icky and gross, number one, when companies do that. So if they're doing that to y'all, let that already be a red flag. But I either just don't respond, or I will like sometimes be on one and just send them a long response of like, number one, like, you follow me, you know that I'm all in on Scentsy. And so no, I've never been like, oh, it'd be cool to sell like nutrition. And I love nutrition. I love wellness, but I'm not, it's not it for me. And I think when I made that decision from the beginning, and also I've taught my team that from the beginning, right? don't do more than one company, especially if you're going to do leadership. And my leaders know that. Like, I don't recommend that. And I think there's this weird social, like, oh, make multiple streams. Like that. Listen, like, this is not like to know it and shot. Like, this isn't like, that's not how it is. You can't do multiple direct sales companies. And I know, actually, I'm not even going to go there, but I'll just say I've seen consultants veer away, and I can already see when they start doing another company or getting paid off certain things. I can already see, I'm like, man, they're not going to build leaders anymore. They don't even get it. Like, they've lost it, because once your team starts seeing you do those things, they lose this sense of trust. Like, I know for a fact, Jen, and I'm sure your team would feel the same. If your leaders started seeing you sell something else, it would disrupt them, you know? And so, no, like, I've never,
Cool.
it's encouraged Justin to want to, like, do some of his dreams, right? But, like, those are his, you know, like, and so.
Hold on. Wait, hold on a second. Maybe this might be me being nitpicky, but that's literally what I'm here for. Did she, correct me if I'm wrong, we can rewind it. Did she not say that she retired her husband? So is her husband retiring, or did he open his own business? Or is he doing something on the side? Do other people know what retiring means? Retiring means that you put enough years into your company where you're able to pull out of your retirement fund and get paid so you don't have to work again. Retirement doesn't mean you quit your job and your wife takes care of you. That's not retiring. You're a stay-at-home husband doing what you want. Can we stop using that interchangeably? Because I feel like it's confusing people on what actual retirement is, because that's not it. Quitting your job and then being around in your garage while your wife scams people online, in my opinion, that's not retiring. That's not it.
No, it's literally just Scentsy. That's it. That's the only direct sales company I will ever do. Period.
Period.
So,
Good.
Are you ready for your question?
Go on, hit me.
All right. So this is to follow up, kind of going along with what Jen asked me. So the second part of this. So throughout your time in Scentsy, we've seen a lot of other consultants that have, not a lot, let's say just consultants in general, right? Go to other direct sales companies because of the grass is greener on the other side concept or mentality. Or we have seen consultants try to do two direct sales businesses at the same time. What advice, because this is real life, what advice would you give consultants that are in this situation right now?
So I think that there's been this weird shift over the last couple of years where there's this whole mantra of multiple streams of income, multiple streams of income. I want you to hear me clearly. I'm a huge fan of multiple streams of income. Okay. But that doesn't mean multiple direct selling companies. Okay. Here's what I want you to know. I'm a fan of multiple streams of income, as in you sell Scentsy. You can have another career if you want to, a 9 to 5. You can be a nurse, teacher, doctor, lawyer. I don't care. You can do whatever you want to do. But I'm a fan of multiple streams of income, as in investments, rental properties, starting other brick and mortars, right? Like, I'm a fan of that. I'm not a fan of a multiple stream of income and you wearing 4 different hats and selling 4 different products, because it does not make sense. And you can convince yourself all day long that you are living into this multiple streams of income dream or whatever is trending right now, because that's really a trend on social media, and it's a trend in social selling, this idea of multiple streams of income, but it's a complete and utter lie. And all it's really doing is distracting you from finding great success in one thing, because I know 0 people who are a part of multiple direct selling companies who are really successful in all of them, let alone one. They're kind of like, why would you be a part of 4 different companies or even 2 different companies to make 200 here and 400 here a month, when you could be a part of one and make 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 or 50,000 in a month? Because that's a real deal. That's a real thing that happens. See the income disclosure statement, results not typical, but
Results not typical. Results Results not typical. Did we catch that? Also, tell me your team is leaving to go do other things without telling me your team is leaving to go do other things.
Here's my thing. Okay, you said what's your advice? My advice is to choose. Freaking choose. Make a choice. Okay, you have to choose between one or the other, and in order to do that, you can make a list. Make a list of pros and cons. And I want to give you some advice that might ruffle your feathers, or you might be like, no, I don't believe her, and that's fine. You cannot. But I want to tell you not to follow your heart. Don't follow your heart. Your heart, the idea of following your heart and doing what makes you feel good is it's like the worst advice you could ever listen to, because your heart is so flippant. Depending on the day, the mood, the season, what's trending, you could be like really excited about something one day and the next week you're not. Your heart's not in it anymore. You're no longer passionate. So don't follow your heart, and don't I loved what Chloe said earlier, and I even wrote it down and I wanted to talk about it too, because it's not about a passion for the products. I don't even think you have to be passionate about Scentsy products to be successful here, just so you know.
Yeah, that's because it's about recruiting. It's not about the wax melts, even though you have like 4 billion in your back room. It's not about the product, baby. It's not about the wax melts. It's not about the freaking ugly ass pots that you guys sell. It's not about the creepy hot stuffed animal things that you guys also sell that are extremely overpriced. It's about recruiting. It's literally just about recruiting. It's about gaslighting your people into thinking they will be successful, even though you yourself said results not likely. And we'll look at the income disclosure statement later. It is about hyping those people up so they will keep buying as much product as you have in your backdrop so that you can continue to make money. The product does not matter. She said so herself. It's about recruiting people. That's why it's not about the product. It doesn't matter what you're selling. It's about what you can convince other people into thinking so that they will buy into your dream.
I freaking love our products. I love fragrance. I love smelling good. But you don't have to be passionate about our products to be successful here. You should be passionate about being successful. And successful is managing your schedule. Successful is having influence. Successful is money. Successful is whatever that is for you. But you should be passionate about success, not passionate about our products. So I want you to choose, because here's the last piece of the puzzle. When you're part of a direct selling business, remember, you are building a business. You're not just selling products. Okay. You can't build multiple businesses and have if someone's going to come join you in the business as a consultant, what company do they join? Pick one. Like, do we spin a wheel and choose? You can't do that. You can't have 4 different companies that you represent and have someone who wants to join your team, but like you don't know which team to put them on or like what company to put them with. Your job is not just to sell products. It's to build a business, to build a brand around that business, and to build a team and a downline and influence and leaders and help people change things. And if you have multiple things you're doing that with, it's gonna be wild. No one will take you seriously. Nobody will know what company to join. Nobody will trust you. And when you don't have trust, then you truly have nothing.
Which I'm honestly, I'm going to say this, I kind of agree. I would have to agree with her. It does look bad when you see these girls on social media who have done every single MLM under the sun and who are in MLMs that don't have a non-compete or a couple of different MLMs that are like different products. Like they're doing like a health and wellness product, they're doing Scentsy, they're doing makeup, they're doing like a little bit of everything. It's just like, it's a commitment thing. Like, why can't you commit to one thing? It makes it look like the companies you're with are not offering enough for you to stay at one. And then also it makes it seem like you are the jack of all trades and master of none. So why would I trust you with my money buying way, way, way overpriced product? And why would I trust your instincts? Because you don't even kind of know what you're doing. And also, how are you going to be well versed in what you're selling when you're selling different stuff? Like it's I don't understand that. I've never been a fan of that, so I get what she's saying, but it definitely sounds like they had to call each other and be like, hey, I'm having people on my team who are starting to sell Lavelle or starting to sell this, and it's like they're not working as hard in Scentsy and I don't know what to do. Okay, well, let's jump on this video call and talk about how horrible it is to be with multiple companies and how it messes with your commitment level and it ruins your Scentsy business when you do this, so that we can reel our people back in and hone in on our team so that we can keep making money. It sounds like that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to rope these girls back in who have strayed away, and they're trying to like get their together so that they can get their team back in order, is what it looks like to me, but that's just my opinion.
So let me just follow it up with one more thing, because I have had to have hard conversations with leaders that have been in 2 companies. Most of them were really successful, like after the conversation. But I know that there's some leaders that are going to watch this or that are on now that have leaders that they see potential in, that they know, and they have that trust with that leader. How do they approach them about this as a leader? What would you say? Or you and me are maybe different in this aspect. Would you not say anything to them about it?
Would I not say anything to who? Say it again.
Like if you had a leader who was doing 2 direct sales companies, and they're a leader, so they're like going to track, they could be a director, and you see them kind of juggling both. How would you have that conversation with that leader in the essence of generally like getting to the point of, look, I've told leaders before, you really should pick one because you can't 100% both. How would you approach that situation with them talking to one of their leaders about them doing multiple direct sales?
So if this, if it's someone in my downline and they're doing this, like I won't talk to them about it until they start to affect the rest of my downline or the rest of my business, right? But if someone's going to make that choice, like they know how I feel about it. I've talked about it multiple times. I'm very public about the fact that I think you should only choose one and be in one. I'm only Scentsy all day, and I will, I don't play. I will not split. I will not join another company. I'm not gonna, right? And I'm so public and sure in that. It's not like it's private information or no one has a clue, right? So if someone wants to do that and make those mistakes and those choices, that's on them, and that's fine. But if you start to poach people in my downline or talk to my downline about it, then hell will break loose. And I mean, I don't mean in a way, I don't own anybody. Okay. And everyone has the right to make their own choices. But I also have like a little bit of like a mama hen, and these are my little baby chicks. And I want people to be free to make their own choices. Everyone should. Everyone should. But it's my job as a leader to at least educate. I'm never going to tell someone what to do, but I'm going to educate them on, hey, you know what? I've been there, or I've seen people do this. Let me tell you what I've seen, or let me give you my perspective. Or let me show you what has happened to someone who went down this road before.
Yep. I love that. Okay, good. I think that was super helpful for them because they will cross that path, especially.
It's going to happen. And let me just tell you this, if you can right now learn that you don't own anybody, okay, and ditch your expectations of other people, it will make your job easier because your heart will be free to give without expectation of return, or without expectation of them following your directions, right? Like your job as a leader is simply to offer and coach and mentor and train, but your job as a leader is never to make someone do what you say. So if you can understand that from the very beginning, that you don't own anyone and it's not your job to make someone work or show up or make the choices that you would make, then I think it allows you to be a little more open and free and vulnerable as a leader, and you can give better that way.
Amen. Love it. Next. You're up.
Next. Okay. So, let's see. My next question for you. If you could tell your younger leader self anything, what would you tell her? You've been a leader for a long time. You've been an SSD for 7, 8 years at this point. So If you could tell your star consultant self, your director self, anything, what would you tell her?
Oh, y'all, me and Jen have been through this, y'all. So we have been through this. I have talked to Jen about so much. And it's because, as y'all can see tonight, number one, like our leadership and business styles are so different, but they're both successful. But also, I learned so much from her, and I'm sure there's little things she learns from me. But
There's big things. Shut your mouth.
but the biggest thing, that there's a couple things I would tell my younger self. Number one, and this is literally something Jen told me a long time ago. I don't even know. I used to just like be like, Jen, this is what's going on. And she'd be like, no. So, the first thing I would tell my younger self is to take emotions out as much as possible. Okay? Listen.
Amen.
It is not worth it. It is not worth disrupting your inner peace, your health, your family. I love the fact that Jen just kind of talked about, like, we don't need to have these expectations that they are gonna do us the way we do them. And for the longest time, I used to not understand, why are these people doing this to me? These people that I loved and still love everybody. You can love everybody, but you don't got to let everybody in, and you shouldn't. And that's where you will get hurt the most. So you've got to be very careful, and you've got to take emotions out of it. Like, this is a business. My emotions need to be sacred to like my home, my husband, and my closest friends, and like my stepmom. Those are the people that get to see the vulnerable, all sides of Chloe, right? And so to definitely not be so emotional, like not be so emotional, and not be so open that the pain hurts so bad. And it doesn't mean you have to be cold, you guys. You can still, I did 4 coaching calls this week and they were fantastic, but I do them different now. I'm not opening up to these people about my family, my life, my health. This is a business, and you can still lead and coach and love, but when you open up too much, and Jen has seen me go through it, it only hurts you. And if you are working this hard to be in this business, and you are bought in and you are all in, if you learn this principle early on, to just try your best to take emotions out. And I used to think, when Jen would say that to me, like, that's so cold. Like, how can you take emotions out? And there is a cost if you don't. And there also is a balance, right? To love your people and to show the love of God and to show that love, but also to be like, this is how I'm going to show the way as a business owner, because I don't want this to happen to you, right? Because how you lead, they will lead, right? And so that's what I would definitely tell my younger self, to really just understand the expectations that people don't do unto others anyway. So I don't know what I was thinking, how it'd be different in a competition type business, which it's not with everybody, but with some people it can get that way, and that's where things start getting weird, right? But when it comes to emotions and really just learning how early on to set that boundary, and so you don't project, and so you can like really run a business and grow. And either way, I've led all the wrong ways, and I've led a couple good ways. I finally, 12 years later, feel like I'm on a path. But I also wrote in my notes, like, I know that God had me on this path for a reason, and I don't regret any of the things that I went through, because I'm human, and God is still using me today, right? And so also,
I'm really curious what the hell she's talking about. Like, I thought this was just an opportunity, not an opportunity, but just like a motivational Leadership Zoom call. Who hurt this girl? I don't understand what's happening. She's running a direct selling business. Why is she having to work so hard to protect her peace? Who hurt her? What does her team look like? What is her team doing to her? I don't understand.
So if that is you guys, then you have found yourself really not leading in a way that you know is like wise, or you know that you're letting emotions get the best of you, and like it'll affect your business, it's affecting your marriage, it's affecting different things. Just put the fire out and do it different tomorrow. Like, look out of the windshield, stop looking out of the rear view mirror, stop talking about it. That's one thing too. When I would tell Jen something, she'd be like, we're done talking about this. Like, we don't need to talk about this anymore. And that's the thing too. There's a time, you guys, where you can talk about it and then drop it off and let it go, because you're carrying things that were never yours to begin with. So that is my best advice.
Good. Love it.
That's that. Okay. All right. Now moving on. Oh, I'm excited about this one. Okay, Jen.
Oh.
So
Wow.
we all go through peaks and valleys, which
Mm.
Scentsy talks about a lot, and Orville does too. So we all go through peaks and valleys in our businesses. Tell me about the lowest point that you were at in your business and what you did to climb out of it. Or if there were some low points, it doesn't have to be super deep, but just something you remember to where what was it? And how did you climb out of that?
Yeah. So when you posed me with this question, there were actually 3 different times that it like immediately came to my mind. So I want to share.
Oh, I do. Okay, I have to give a disclaimer right before this portion, because the person who sent this to me did warn me about halfway through. So she is about to talk about infant loss, miscarriage. So if you are sensitive to those topics, I would skip forward ahead maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. She barely skims by it. She doesn't go into detail about it, because I did skip to it and watch it just so I knew it was going to happen. So if you are somebody who is just triggered by that and doesn't want to hear about it, please skip forward. She does mention it, but I just wanted to warn you guys.
For all 3 of those times with you, because maybe you'll resonate with one versus the other. But the lowest points in my business are, the first one is I had 4 solid years, 4 years. That's a long time, where I was a consultant, and I was earning annual sales and annual mentor, both every year. I earned all of the incentive trips, like for 2 or the top tier, or if it was like a top 150 or top 100 or what, I earned all of that. Like the biggest prize you could earn, I earned it. I did all the right things, lots of sales, lots of recruiting, lots of follow-up. I did all of the right actions, and I had 0 growth, 0. So the beginning of the year and the end of the year looked the same. For team size, my paychecks remained the same, and I was doing all the right things. You would have looked at my like accolades and thought like, damn, this girl is doing the thing. And I was doing the thing, but like nothing was changing. My paycheck was staying exactly the freaking same. My team size wasn't going anywhere, and my title didn't change. And it was.
So does that mean that all the times when they say that you can choose your paycheck, or that your paycheck is based on how hard you work, that is absolutely not true? Because that's what I just gained from that. She just said she worked her booty off for 4 years. Her paycheck didn't change and her team size didn't change. So it sounds to me like when they are saying you pick your paycheck, or your paycheck is based on how hard you work, that doesn't sound accurate to me. That sounds like a lie. In my opinion, that sounds like a lie to me. So
Frustrating. And I think sometimes people can go through that time, but like, I mean, they'll give it like 2 or 3 months and be like, I've been doing everything for 3 months and nothing is changing. 4 years. That's 8 catalog seasons. Okay, it's a long, long time. So that's one point. Another point that I can think of is, it's not a specific point, but I want to share this with you because I have been through some difficult points in my business that were brought on by other consultants. I've been through difficult points in my business where I have been lied about. I've been lied about to other consultants, and I've been lied about to customers. I have been shamed by other consultants to strangers that I don't even know. And they met me and they were like, oh, you're Jennifer Anderson? Oh, I've heard a lot about you. Strangers, complete and utter strangers. I have been compared to other leaders and have been told to my face that I'm a terrible leader, and why am I not like so-and-so? Why don't I do the things so-and-so does? People have said that I tried to steal their downline. People have said that I only care about money and I only work with those that I'm making money off of. And if I don't make money off someone, then I don't care about them anymore. And those are all very real things that have happened to me, and that's tip of the iceberg, but those are all.
Who hurt these girls? Who hurt you guys? Who hurt you? Please go to therapy if you're not already. And also, who cares if you're doing it for only the money? It's a business. That is what you're doing it for, is the money. You don't have to, unfortunately, in MLMs, you have to absolutely make it seem like you are only doing it because you want to help other people, and you're only doing it because of the goodness of your heart. If anyone ever admits that they're only doing it for money, they are chastised for it, which is odd because you're claiming you're the CEO of a business. You're a business owner. So if you are a business owner or a CEO, why would you not be doing things that were lucrative? Why would you be doing things just because you want to? That doesn't make sense to me.
Real things that have happened to me throughout my career from other consultants. Okay, so that's number 2. And then number 3, before the birth of my daughter, I had a miscarriage, and it rocked my world. And I went to a very deep, dark place personally, and I took my business with it. Because of my personal struggles that I had going on, it affected my business too, and my business went into that deep, dark place of personal struggles. So the question that Chloe asked me is not just, hey, what were the lowest points in your business? But she said, how did you get out of it? And that's what I really need you to hear tonight, because if you are at a low point, I want you to hear how I got out of it. And if you're not at a low point or you've never been there, there will come a day. And they will happen, because valleys happen just as much as peaks. And that's something I think you really need to understand. When we recruit people into this business, you've got to be transparent and teach them from the beginning that our businesses so for you, it's not just like this, like an upward slope the whole time. It's like this, la, 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 and the peaks are great and the valleys are really low, and they're all normal. They're all normal. Okay. So remember this. Someone said this, they said, you can quit. You can absolutely quit, but you can't quit on a bad day. Okay. So never quit in a valley. Okay. All right. So here's what I did to get out of these low points. Very simply, I just moved. I moved. Moving is so valuable in your business. When I say I moved, it means I took action. Motivation doesn't come first. Action comes first. And from action, you produce motivation. People sitting around waiting to be motivated, waiting for sparks to fly, waiting for ideas to come, waiting for the sun to shine and then to feel great. And no, you just have to move. Move. I moved. I took action in my business. Remember this, a business in motion stays in motion, and a business at rest stays at rest. And I've said this so many times in reference to our business, but also with your downline. It is so much harder to reignite a flame that's gone out than it is to go and like build a whole new fire. Okay. So like once your flame goes out, like once your business has stopped having motion, it is so much harder to get that freaking relit than it is to just like keep it going the whole time. Okay. So I moved. Secondly, I fanned the flames of my passions outside of Scentsy. Because I had, for many years, like Scentsy was my entire life. Like 24/7, living, breathing. I didn't do anything but Scentsy ever. I didn't go out. I didn't have friends that weren't in Scentsy consultants. I didn't like wear clothes that didn't say Scentsy. I lived and breathed and thought about Scentsy 24/7, and I never did anything else. And that's actually can be detrimental to your business. Number three, I moved my office outside. I worked on my back porch because sunshine is valuable. Sunshine is so good for you. You might be sitting here being like, seriously, are you telling me to go outside? Yeah, I'm telling you to go outside. Sunshine is a mood booster. Sunshine gives you so much beautiful energy and excitement, and it releases things in your body that you cannot get inside. You need sunshine, you need light, you need fresh air. There's so much value in doing that. Next, I preached the gospel to myself. I preached the gospel to myself. The gospel is another word for the truth. So I preached the truth to myself day in and day out. What's really true? What lies am I believing here? What is really happening? And it's because sometimes I think we can believe these lies, or we can see only, kind of like what's happening here, and we lose sight of the actual truth and the actual gospel. And so I would daily have these moments where I preach the gospel to myself, and I'd say, wait, what is actually true? What's really happening? Who am I? Whose am I? Who loves me? Who finds value in me? How was I created? Right? Like all of these things, I preach the gospel to myself. Next, I created dream boards in a way. I know that sounds cheesy, but and honestly, I'm very honest, I haven't done that in many years, but for those times, reminding myself of what my dreams really were was so important, because they were my dreams. It was my dream and my paycheck and my family and my business and my life. And why was I going to let it be affected by the words of someone else? Or I wasn't seeing immediate gratification with growth, or my emotions and feelings, while very real, going through my miscarriage. Was I going to let that distract me from what my ultimate dreams were for my family and my business and my life, right? So kind of like putting that dream right in front of your face and tying your business to that dream, and how can your business make those dreams a reality for you? And lastly, I surrounded myself with good people. I surrounded myself with good people. Your circle is so important. Who you allow to speak into your life is so important. You have to choose wisely and protect that. You cannot let everyone have validity in your life. You cannot let everyone's words hit you to the core. Okay? You have to choose whose words get that kind of valuable place in your heart and in your brain. And I surrounded myself with people who were smarter, wiser, stronger, richer than me. You want to be the dumbest person in the room. You want to be the youngest person in the room. You want to be the poorest person in the room. Surround yourself with people who do it better than you, and that'll bring you out of your low points.
I don't even know what to say. If y'all didn't just write all that down, y'all y'all are gonna have to rewatch it, because everything that you said, Jen, I have been through almost all of those things. I have not been through a miscarriage. I cannot imagine. I love you, and I'm so sorry you went through that. Like, the fact that you were able to overcome that, and that speaks volumes. And I can say, though, one thing I want to add on, that really, I'm just going to be a little bit vulnerable with y'all, with a valley that I was in about 3 years ago. I literally remember being in my kitchen. This was like mid 2020, and looking at my husband and going, I literally don't know who I am anymore. And I had completely lost myself, because everything was Scentsy. All my friends were Scentsy. I wasn't doing anything outside of Scentsy. Literally had no friends except Scentsy consultants, which I do not recommend that. I always had Scentsy shirts on. Like my whole identity was like picked with that. And so I stopped doing coaching calls that year. I literally cut everything off because I was so distraught, and then went through some situations with downline where I literally was like, I can't trust anybody. Like I can't. And so I'm saying this because when you said, Jen, that you had to start speaking the truth over yourself, this is the thing, y'all. When you get in such a hole in your business where you're telling yourself you're a failure, where you're believing all the nonsense that people may be saying about you. I have had so many people say so many lies about me. And at a certain point, I looked at Justin and I was like, did I say those things? Did I do those things? Like these outside opinions were morphing this disbelief of somebody I wasn't. And so I had to learn and really get into the word. I'm a believer, Jen is too. So whatever you guys do to pull yourself out of dark holes, for me, it was like spending time with Jesus, worship music only. I had to protect like my ears at all costs. And I had to start speaking the truth of what God says about me. Because
Yes.
when you stay in that place for so long, you start believing like these full out lies that just aren't true. And if
Yeah.
you don't start going on the up and up with that, like it almost took me out. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I almost was like, I can't do this. Like I cannot. And for some reason, God was like, just stay. I'm going to handle all those situations. But I just wanted to add to that, Jen, on the fact that you said the words that we speak and the words, the truth, even if you don't feel it. I didn't for a long time.
Yep.
Speak what you know is true.
Yep.
So yeah, so good.
So good.
So good.
Before we keep watching this, just for the record, the Lord does not want you in an MLM, okay? The Lord does not want you to manipulate people into buying wax melt kits so that you can manipulate other people into doing the same thing. That is not what Jesus was sent here to do. That is not what the message in the Bible gives to you. So I don't know why they always pull that card. I don't understand the correlation between spirituality and being in an MLM. I understand that we are trying to use faith-based manipulation. I understand that they are trying to pull at people's heartstrings to get them to stay in this cult, in my opinion, cult. Sometimes it's just like such a miss for me. I don't get it at all. I do not.
Okay. Next.
All right. My last question for you. You guys hanging in there? Doing good? Okay. Last question is, what is the number one tippy top priority habit that you should have when it comes to building a sustainable business and being a leader that lasts? Number one.
All right. So the top tippy top tip. So I actually have this tattooed on my arm, and Jen has already said this, but my top tip is to move, to take action in your business, take how you feel out of it. People are going to fail you. Your systems and your actions will not fail you. And I promise you, I was literally talking to one of my leaders today about this. You will look at yourself 3 months down the road, and you will be so proud of how you climbed and sustained and powered through. And that doesn't mean you don't take care of yourself. Everybody needs to deal with themselves when they're going through things. Like your upline is not your counselor. Like some of y'all need legit help. And I'm going to be honest, like I'm in therapy, so I can say this. So you have to do that, but don't stop moving. I heard this from Carol Bishop like a few months ago. I don't even know if it was in January at Leadership. It was somewhere, but she said eventually everybody rolls up. So stay. Don't quit when it gets hard. Talk to me and Jen are one of y'all's uplines. Talk to one of us when it gets hard. We will tell you. I literally told a girl today, I said, you can slow down. You can have some time to take a little bit of time to yourself, but do not stop with your customers. and do not give up on your business. I will not let you do that when it gets hard. I will not, because I can
you are validating that somebody may have an issue that they need to step aside in life and deal with, but there is no issue that is so big that you need to stop working your business. Just so we're clear. There will never be an issue in your life that is so bad that you need to walk away from your business. Just keep working your business and taking care of your customers, and your mental health will just take care of itself. Your marriage will just take care of itself. Your kids will just take care of themselves. As long as you just keep working your business, everything else will just take care of itself.
tell you right now, if I would have let some dumb situations take me out, I would be so mad at myself right now if I gave up on that. So honestly, to keep moving, to stay in rhythm. I don't care if you're walking in place at a certain point. Just don't stop moving. Don't stop. Have systems to protect your habits. So when you're going through hard times, that's why I preach systems to every one of you, because every business has them. You've got to know what you're doing when you go to work. You've got to know how you're selling. You got to know how you're following up, recruiting and leading. Y'all know that. But the reason that has to be so protected is because when you go through hard days, which honestly, there's a lot more hard days for me sometimes in Scentsy than joyous, depending on the season or depending what I'm going through with my family and stuff. But my systems and my habits and my movement, the way that I have trained my brain, right, to package orders before I got on this call, movement is true medicine, and you will never be disappointed in yourself for like showing up. Do you have anything to add, Jen, to that? Like what's your top tip?
Is that your question for me?
No, that's not your last question. No, I don't remember what your last question is.
I feel like it might be though.
Wait, is it? Is yours the same? Oh yeah, it is.
Kind of. Okay. I feel like that's your question.
I swear I did not copy you on that.
Oh.
How did we do? That's awesome. Okay, never mind. So yeah,
they're kind of the same.
Yeah, so they're kind of the same. So I'm going to move on to your last question, and then we'll leave a couple minutes open if y'all have questions for Jen or myself. So Jen, your last question I have is, what is the best practices, advice, tips that you've received that you still use to this day in your business? And this was actually a question Justin wrote for you.
Oh, you know what's so funny too is like, I have my answer for that, but Chloe and I did not share our answers with each other prior to this call, but so many of our answers have been echoed, right? So many of the things that we have said, you hear us sort of echoing with each other. And so I think that take note of that. Because even though we're different and our businesses look different, there are principles that remain the same. And
if that isn't the cultiest thing I have heard today, I don't know what is. This is a very good example of how, regardless of how different people are or how much they want it to appear that you have individuality within MLMs, you don't. It's a lot of like-minded thinking. It's a lot of similar talking points, similar interests. It's a lot of people trying to relay the same message over and over and over again so that we can essentially copy and paste humans and ideas into the exact same box, which is very, very similar to how cults work, very similar to how religion works, which I have a whole other opinion about that we're not going to get into. But essentially, like-minded thinking, unified opinions, scary, usually easier to manipulate people in a state like that, easier to communicate to the masses in that way when everyone has similar thinking and similar structure on the way they do things. Yikes.
Principles that successful people do these things, right? So take note of that. And I just want to tell you this too before I answer this question. There are so many different like ways to be successful here, but these principles are the freaking same. They will carry you. Notice we're not talking about parties or PRV or booking or like how to recruit someone, right? But what all of those things are figure outable like so easily if you can get what we're talking about down. And what we're talking about is what will sustain you and help you be a leader that lasts. So I have a couple of things. I wanna first tell you though what the worst advice people have given me are that you should never follow. And that one, which I also said earlier, is to follow your heart. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Make logical decisions and logical choices and use wisdom. Don't just follow your heart. I'm a fan of following your gut and gut instincts. Like, I get that, but it's different than just following your heart or doing what feels good. No, doing what feels good will lead you to destruction. Okay. Doing what feels good will leave you with a business that fails you. And doing what feels good, I mean, you may not feel like doing anything in your business, but you may feel like what, XYZ, whatever else, it's actually detrimental to you.
So don't do what your gut is telling you to do. Just continue working your business even though it doesn't feel right and it doesn't feel like what you should be doing, because that's you listening to your heart. And your heart has no idea what to do. So just keep working your business and disregard how you feel emotionally about it, and just stay working your business. Just keep selling Scentsy even though you don't feel great about doing it and you have a bad gut feeling about it, because that's your heart telling you not to.
Don't follow your heart. Someone once told me, fake it till you make it. Worst advice ever. Okay. I'm not a fan of putting on a face or not showing the real deal or not telling you like what's really happening. And I think this is important as a leader. You need to be transparent with your downline, never in a way that they lose trust in you. Never so transparent that they lose trust and that they don't respect you, right? Because if your downline doesn't trust or respect you, why the heck would they like care about what you have to say, or why the heck would they do what you're asking them to do? And the last one is someone told me in the very beginning of my business, never let them see you sweat. Lies. Let them see you sweat, because they're going to sweat. Things are going to be hard for them. They need to see you sweat because they need to see you overcome. So you can model that behavior for them too, okay? But here are the best tips that I use still to this day. And this is so crucial. So crucial. Separate your actions from your emotions. This is such a touchy-feely business. This is such a weird business where we only work when we feel like it, or we only work if it feels good. And you guys, that will destroy you. That will destroy your business. You will not build a business that way, because I don't know who always feels like it. I don't know who's always in a good mood. I don't know who always is feeling great about themselves or their life or the path they're like. Separate your emotions from your actions. I don't know who doesn't have a fight with their spouse one day, or their kids aren't acting crazy, or they're, looking at me, whatever, or someone didn't cut them off on the road. I mean, you're always going to have emotions, but separate them from your actions. Okay. You can not feel great, but you can go still put your running shoes on and go for a run, right? You can be feeling sad, but you can still take the action and put your running shoes on. You can be feeling defeated, but you can still take the action of going to your office and looking in your order history and sending a text message, okay? Separate your emotions from your actions. They are not the same, and they shouldn't be the same. Along with that, create habits that carry you. Just like Chloe talked about, your habits will carry you. Your habits will carry you. Build habits. Habits are what build a business. Habits are what sustain you. Habits are the things that you do every single day without fail, day in and day out, no matter what, or every week or every month or whatever. Habits are the things that no matter what is going on in your life or your person or your emotions or the weather, you still do it. Build habits and you'll build your business. And then when it comes to leadership, if you want to build the business, build the people. If you want to build the business, build the people. Chloe knows that. Chloe's excellent at building the people. If you're lucky enough to have her in your life, yay you. If you want to build the business, build the people. Okay. Chloe is modeling that behavior for you. So do what she's doing and build the people. And then lastly, make them want your job. Make them want your job. If you're complaining, if you're whining, if you're commiserating, if you're bitching about something selling out or not being available or some kind of glitch on the work, like nobody wants to be a part of that. Nobody wants to be a part of that. If you're sharing what's great about your life and what's great about your business and what kind of joy this business is bringing you, what kind of blessings are happening because of your paycheck, what kind of relationships you're building, if you're like, make people want your job. So that's it.
AKA sell a dream. Don't complain about what is actually going on, and don't worry about the products, because all you have to do is gaslight your recruits into thinking that you love doing this so that they'll stay and you can keep making money. Also, I'm not even gonna lie, halfway through her talking, I am just cannot stop staring at all the wax melts in the back. There are so many. There are so many. My ADHD could not, and they're out of color order. I can't.
That's so good. That was it was great, y'all. It's the emotions. Take those emotions out. Y'all will.
They're separate. They're not the same. They're separate.
The only one that gets hurt with emotions is you, sis. So it's not them. I can tell you that right now. So that all of them are key, even the habits, all of it. So I just love you and thank you so much.
So that's pretty much the end of the video. It has about 7 minutes left. It's questions, but they kind of just go over what they already talked about, so I'm not even going to waste our time with that. Let's summarize what I gained from this video. Who hurt these girls is my first question. If I was taking notes, that would be like the #1 thing I have written on there. Who hurt these girls? Is there so little going on within the Scentsy community that these Huns just have time on their hands to like emotionally abuse each other? Because that's kind of what it seems like is happening. Who hurt you? Why are people lying about each other? Why would you stay if you're being emotionally abused that bad? I'm trying not to laugh, but it's awkward to even have to say. Why would you say that you retired your husband and didn't? Because it sounds like he's just like working his own business. So he's still working. He just quit his other job so that you could do Scentsy full time, I guess. And the subtle culty tendencies that are mirroring within this speech and within cult speech is drastically close. Like taking emotions out of it. Don't use your heart, aka your gut feeling, when you feel like something's wrong or you feel like you shouldn't be doing it. Just ignore that. You just ignore that and you keep working your business. You keep staying in a business where people are talking bad about you and where people are poaching your people and people are leaving to go to other MLMs. You stay and ignore the fact that you don't like it and that you feel bad about it, and you just keep working your business, okay? It's scary. It's scary to me, these poor women. But they'll probably be in it forever. I mean, she has enough wax melts to last through the apocalypse. I doubt they're going anywhere. Oh, let's look at the income disclosure statement. So they didn't give us the income disclosure statement. So let's find it for ourselves. Income disclosure statement for Scentsy for 2023. So it says independent Scentsy consultants earn between 10 and 36% commission and bonuses on personal sales and may be eligible for leadership bonuses based on their team's sales. The chart below shows how independent Scentsy consultants in the United States performed on average, so it is an average, in 2023. As with any business endeavor, a consultant's success will be a direct result of the time and effort they devote to selling the product and leading a team, which we definitely heard is not true because she was leading a team and she was devoting time to selling for 4 years and didn't change her income whatsoever. So that's a lie. The earnings below represent commissions that Scentsy actually paid to consultants in 2023. We have divided our consultants into 2 groups for this disclosure. Group 1 consists of consultants who were with Scentsy for all 12 months of 2023. Group 2 consists of consultants who were with Scentsy for less than 12 months in 2023, including those who joined Scentsy for the first time and those who left Scentsy either due to inactivity or for other reasons. Okay, so we have 2 groups. So let's just go off of the group that was with Scentsy for 12 whole months so that we can just avoid the comments of people saying, oh, those are people who just bought the kit and they didn't work their business. Okay, shut up. We're just gonna read the one for people who were in freaking Scentsy for 12 freaking months in 2023, okay? So that would be what? Group 1, is that what they said? Group 2, yes, group 1, okay. So number of consultants for 12 consecutive months in. No, is that a 0? Oh no, okay. Oh no. All right, number of consultants in group 1, 97,238. Minimum annual commission, 0 doll hairs. Yikes. Maximum annual commissions, $1 million. Why? Average annual commissions, $1,000, $1,100. Okay. Median annual commissions is $324. $324. Okay, so also if you want to be a consultant, there is a hair on me. Where is it? There it is. If you would like to be a consultant, there is a $15 a month subscription fee. And then also consultants earn 20% off their first 1,000 points. Once you sell 1,000 points, you're certified for life. Okay. So what is the minimum requirement per month? So once you sell 1,000 PRV, you qualify for life as a consultant. Okay. But if you want to be a lead consultant, you have to do a PRV of 500 every single month. So now I understand why she has 400,000 million wax melts in her back room. $324.65 a year is the median. So that's pretty, like, that's about what everyone is making, unless you're at the very, very, very tippy top. I wish there was percentages. I wish that we could have a percentage on how many people are at the top. That sucks. Oh well. We do have $15 a month required as a subscription to have a website. So that means, where's my calculator? 15 times 12 is $180. So $180 to stay active. Once you're paying your website fees, you're only actually making $144 commission profit. You're only making $144.65 profit once you pay your website fees. Not worth the time, not worth the energy, definitely not worth being emotionally bullied by other consultants, and definitely not worth all those. I cannot stop thinking about all the wax melts. I am going to go to bed thinking about all the wax melts that are hanging on that wall. That will haunt me till the day I die. That will be the last thing I think of when I'm on my deathbed. I will have my children surrounded me. I will have my grandchildren surrounding me. I will have Chris by my side because I told him he is not allowed to pass away before me because I can't live without him. So he will be not by my side as I'm passing away, and I will be laying there thinking about how many wax melts this lady has on her wall. Jennifer Anderson, what are you doing? Please, for the love of God, get rid of all those wax melts. You do not need all of those. But she does need all of them to continue to maintain her rank. Yikes. Okay, well, thank you for tuning into this video. I know it was extremely, extremely long. I'm not going to cut it into 2 parts. I'm just going to let it be what it is. We'll just call it like a marathon episode or something like that. But Thank you guys for hanging out with me for this long. I appreciate you so, so much. I apologize for you having to listen to my sexy Christina Aguilera voice because as much as I believe it is beautiful, did you see the lighting? It's exhausting. It's exhausting. I'm exhausted. I feel like I just ran a marathon. Ew. To Scentsy. I hope you guys have an amazing week. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. Leave a comment if you do so desire. I also have an email below. You can use that to send me videos just like the one we watched today. I do reactions to them. I do commentary on them. You can also send me Facebook posts, Instagram posts. You can send me reels. You can also send me your personal story. So if you have been in an MLM like me and you have some wild to share, I would love to hear about it. I feel like personal stories are so impactful. I don't think people realize how many other people are impacted by MLMs and how it really weasels its way into our everyday lives. And so hearing other people's stories and experiences really puts validity into those who feel like it was a singular event. You're not the only one. There are victims everywhere. Those MLM Huns are sneaky, okay? They are damn sneaky. So you're not the only one. We want to hear your story. We're here with open arms. If you've done a cringy post before, if you were in the trenches, I've been there. I have a bajillion cringy posts I can show you. I have a bajillion Facebook Lives I can show you. I was in it for a long time and it's embarrassing. But when you come out on the other side, we forgive you. We understand what it's like to be brainwashed every single day for 24 hours a day. And we understand what it's like to go through that. So hello, hi, you're okay. There is life after an MLM and you can do this. I love you guys so, so much. I hope you have an amazing week. And as always, you are worth more than the kickback your upline's gonna get for recruiting you. Thanks, guys.